Gentlemen, Get Set Go is near, and so there are run of limited banner as well, the track students. On this event, Tasumi will be available as welfare student, and everyone will be given tons of her LF, so you can utilize her easily. The event feature is Dice Run, and it's the most profitable for credits and other growth material farm. Utilize your AP into this event feature or Dice Run, and get growth material as many as you can. About Tasumi, should you build her? Well, she is okay to build if you are in need. Single Mystic Dealer, very molding as heck but is fine. Wakamo could replace her position entirely after she get buffed, which dependable. So 3 track banner will be held, 1 are new standard and the other 2 is limited. Which banner you should go for? Well, T.Yuuka is the only banner that are worth to spark for. She is very versatile tanker you should get and build with 5 stars. However, should you get the other as well? Let's talk about T.Haruna. Appear as healer special, her X skill, move allies within range and heal them as soon as they got into her position. The heal wasn't that bad in single uses, and meant for multiple unit. So, is bad for one target. The repositioning ability she have is kinda useful. You see, every time you fought Goz or Shirokuro, you can utilize repositioning students to avoid deadly skill from the boss. However, since those 2 boss restricted to use healer, T.Haruna healing is kinda useless in there. So this is an unfortunate for those who's looking for another repositioning students with good versatility. You could utilize T.Haruna X skill on Bunny to move your tanker away. Which I forgot to press record button but it sucks anyways, because Serena did better than T.Haruna. So, if you have Serena, which you do, prepare to build her for Torment Bin, a special defense Grand Assault later. Her basic skill, she applied debuff defense. It's not much but is applied to multiple enemies. That could be useful on Kuro Cage since each soul fragment has its own defense stats and is same. With that said though, you could definitely defeat this raid boss without her. Though her ability is kinda useful, still she isn't viable option for long term uses. Enhanced skill increase her healing could improve the HP recovery, is the best for healer. Sub skill, increase attack is sound nice for simple support. So overall, looks great. Breedable Live 2D. Taking a close look, is somehow want to unzip pants and letting her sucking your well. Pyroxene. Anyway, not worth to spark for. So moving on. Anyway, we have till limited track students. Now within these, I highly recommend you to spark for T.Yuuka, instead of T.Mari. T.Yuuka somehow is very versatile tanker, and worth to build at least 5 stars. If you have at least 24k pyroxene, pull on this until you get her, and save the rest of your pull for later banner, if you want also to get the Collab banner. Thinking that these Taru railgun will not have rerun, which is not true. Since the official JP news says that it will have rerun, but the date is still unknown. You can read that news link down below. Now you might be thinking, why T.Yuuka only? What about T.Mari despite she is also limited? If you're new, let's have further discussion about both. As you may know, T.Yuuka is tanker with special as her defense. Her X skill able to move 4 allies and applied shield on them as they reach the flag. The shield she got wasn't not that strong as supporter, but repositioning and yet as striker is particularly needed to freed 1 special slot. So you have 2 free special slot. That slot will reserve for the best special students. You know, between 2 of these students, NY Fuka, S Shiroko, Himari or Ako. Now how important is the repositioning and shield ability is. On Goz, you do desperately need student that able to apply shield to negate huge damage from the boss. If the targeted student is not have shield applied, then the boss will do more damage. Worst case is an instant death. Repositioning also important, as you may know that you can't move or control your students, since this is part of strategy. Moving students into safest area is very common on raid content. If you having trouble with those repositioning strat thingy, T.Yuuka would be the absolute quality of life. So, get her and repositioning problem would be easier as long as you have her. I just mentioned that she is used onto raid boss, while in fact you could use her anywhere as long as you are in need repositioning, which you always do, and you don't know about it. Basic skill. She applied shield to herself if the shield wasn't present. If to, however, she increase her healing instead and can be stacked up to 3 stacks. Since the shield is based her healing, This basic skill could improve the shield durability she applied to herself and Soto's, which will be thicker as her thighs, as the shield is already applied, and automatically deploy shield if the shield is not present, without putting any effort. Enhanced skill increase attack speed, since she is most likely appear like everywhere as long as repositioning is needed and appear as tanker. Increase attack speed is somehow kinda meaningless, but with her sub-skill, it can help at the same time, at least to delete trash mob quicker that is. As her enhanced skill plus is pretty much useful to make her shield is more durable, because the shield she deploys based on her healing. In short, T.Yuuka is must spark student and must build at least with 5 stars. If you're not able to however, focus on your dealer first before tanker. To build her, from overall, all of her skills could help you but foremost commonly is her X and basic skill. She needs that shield to protect another student from an instant death or huge damage. At least X skill level 4 and basic skill level 7 should be enough for starter. Max it if you are in need shield durability. Enhanced and sub skill are mostly useful for endgame, not so common. Which leave these 2 skills on level 7 should be fine. Now what about T.Mari? Why not must get or spark or build despite she is appear as limited? Well technically, she is could be the best healer with huge scale of HP recover. However, due to the flaws of her limited heal ranges somehow make her become the worst striker healer. If we compare all available striker healer which 3 of them, T.Mari healing would be a godsend. But it's the range says otherwise. Even if you trying desperately making her X skill useful the result will be annoying. In short, it's too complex to use her as main striker healer. Well technically you could use her on Hieronymus Torment if you want, but second team is an optional. Even if you do use second team, you probably not gonna use her since again, too complex. So, Kokona and Koharu still remain the best striker healer and easy to use. If you have them, build them right away. If you are new to the game and had no idea, let's have further discussion. So T.Mari appear as striker healer which I've already mentioned her before, with special as her defense type. There's a reason why I've never mentioned her attack type because it's not matter for tanker, healer, and supporter role, most of the time that is. So her X skill heal allies within range except herself. The HP recovery is incredible as you may see. Furthermore, if we combine with her sub skill, which will add half of her X skill HP recover scale only for the student that is below 30% HP remain. It's even incredible. What's more is that this sub skill also will add into her basic skill as well. Her basic skill, she heal one ally with the highest defense value, also she recover her own HP as well, and both side will receive defense buff. 45 second is kinda long to activate it, and this is the only skill she able to recover her own HP. If situation got worse and somehow she needs heal, that 45 seconds of basic skill should not be wasted or cancelled, or too much relying on her basic skill for self heal. Technically, she is great and all, the only things make her 2 flaws to use as her range of her X skill, and self heal are dependable onto basic skill. So again, it's not easy, or way too complex as striker healer being. I don't particularly recommend you to skip her banner just in case if you need her later. And I would say, getting T.Mari would an optional to get just in case if you are near to spark. If far however, best to save for collaboration banner if you want to collect also. For the build, there's almost no reason to build her right now. You could try utilizing her performance but that's not gonna make things better. And that's it gentlemen. Get T.Yuuka if you have 24k pyroxene. If you get T.Yuuka and near to spark, use that to get T.Mari as well. Even if you don't need her but of course, just in case. However, if you do get T.Yuuka and far from spark, it is best to save your pull and wait for collaboration banner if you want to collect them. So, optional to get T.Mari while T.Haruna is somehow still flaws to be useful. Knowing she is permanent added into to standard banner, she will spook you later or sooner. Yes, the live 2D is worth to watch again and again until running out of tissues on your desk. I guess that's it. As always, Godspeed.
最善を尽くします。